Welcome to RPG PhD, where we help you imagine, improvise, and immerse in your tabletop adventures. I'm Dr. Ben, and today we're diving into one of the most common and sometimes most frustrating challenges in tabletop role-playing games: rules disputes. You've seen it before. One player insists their spell should work a certain way, another argues the opposite, and suddenly the game grinds to a halt. But don't worry, today we'll break down why these disputes happen and, more importantly, how to handle them without losing the fun. Tabletop RPGs are a magical blend of storytelling, strategy, and shared imagination. They offer a world where players can become heroes, scoundrels, or cosmic horrors bent on unraveling the fabric of reality. Hey, no judgment. But even the most epic adventures can grind to a halt when the dreaded rules dispute rears its ugly head. Few things kill the momentum of a game like a heated argument over whether an ability can be used that way, if an attack of opportunity should have triggered, or if falling damage should really be that punishing. So how do we navigate these moments without the session devolving into a courtroom drama? Rules disputes arise for a variety of reasons, and understanding why they happen is key to resolving them efficiently. Here are some of the most common culprits. Conflicting interpretations. RPG rulebooks aren't exactly known for their flawless clarity. One player reads a spell description one way, another reads it differently, and suddenly the table is locked in a philosophical debate on arcane semantics. Homebrew versus rules as written. Some groups love to tweak the rules for flavor, while others are strict about adhering to the official text. This can cause friction when expectations don't align. The gotcha moment. A player might try to pull off an unexpected tactic, thinking they're a genius, only for the GM to shut it down because it's technically not allowed. Cue the groans of disappointment and the cries of, "But the rulebook doesn't say I can't!" Game balance concerns. Some rules disputes stem from a player or the GM feeling like a particular interpretation breaks the balance of the game. If one ruling makes a player vastly overpowered or useless, expect some pushback. Ego and investment. Let's be honest, nobody likes being wrong. Sometimes rules debates escalate simply because people get emotionally invested in their interpretation. Now that we know the why, let's get into the how. Here are some tried and true ways to handle rules disputes before they derail the adventure. The rule of cool. One of the best ways to handle a rules dispute is to ask, what would be the most fun? If a player wants to do something cinematic and awesome and it doesn't break the game, consider just letting it happen. Maybe a rogue wants to backflip off a chandelier and stab a villain mid-air. The rulebook might not have explicit mechanics for aerial assassination acrobatics, but does it sound cool? Absolutely! Make them roll an acrobatics check and let the drama unfold, rather than bogging the game down in technicalities. The GM has final authority. Sometimes you just need a quick ruling to keep things moving. Establishing that the Game Master has the final say prevents debates from spiraling into an endless rules discussion. For example, a player insists that they should get cover from a waist-high rock, but the GM rules it doesn't provide enough protection. Rather than arguing for 10 minutes, the GM makes a ruling and moves on. This works because it ensures the game doesn't stall, and the Game Master can make a call that benefits game flow over rule lawyering. Also, a Game Master should use this power wisely. Being fair and consistent is key. If a ruling is made hastily, offer to revisit it after the session. The 3-minute rule. Set a time limit for in-game rules discussions. If a dispute isn't resolved in 3 minutes, the GM makes a ruling for the session and everyone moves on. So, for example, the cleric and the Game Master can't agree on whether spiritual weapon can flank an enemy for advantage. Instead of pausing the game for an extensive rule check, they give it 3 minutes, hear both sides, and the GM makes a temporary ruling to keep things moving. This works because this keeps arguments from derailing momentum while allowing for flexibility later. Check the rules after the session. If a dispute doesn't have an immediate answer, make a temporary ruling and look it up later. So, for example, the crew isn't sure if the hacker's drone can bypass a corporation's firewall while moving at high speed. Instead of pausing the game to sift through rulebooks, the GM makes a quick call, allowing the action to proceed while noting to verify the official ruling after the session. This works because it keeps the session moving and the correct rule can be applied in future sessions. Group consensus vote. For a more democratic approach, let the table vote on an ambiguous rule call. The pilot wants to use their ship's thrusters to create a smoke screen in the middle of a high-speed chase. The GM is unsure if the ship's exhaust could realistically do that, so they let the players discuss and vote on whether it makes sense within the game's physics and narrative. This works because it makes rulings feel fair and collaborative, reducing frustration. Rules lawyer with a purpose. Having a designated rules expert at the table can help speed up disputes if they're willing to be neutral. So, for example, one player who loves digging through rulebooks, instead of letting them slow down play, make them the go-to for quick clarifications. And this works because it turns rules lawyering from an obstacle into an asset. Prevention is the best medicine. Handling disputes well is great, but preventing them is even better. Here's how to set up your game for fewer arguments. Session 0 matters. Discuss how you'll handle rules disputes before they happen. Will the GM have final say? Are house rules in play? Clarify your house rules. If you tweak anything from the official rules, make sure everyone knows up front. Encourage a collaborative mindset. Remind players that the goal is fun, not winning a legal battle over game mechanics. Keep reference materials handy. Digital rulebooks, cheat sheets, or a quick search tool can help speed up rulings. Finding the right solution for your game and table and players is crucial because every group is different. Some tables thrive on strict adherence to the rules, while others prefer a more fluid, narrative-driven approach. The key is to have open communication with your players and determine what style best suits your group. Are they rules enthusiasts who love debating mechanics, or do they prefer quick rulings to keep the story flowing? By setting expectations early and being adaptable, you can create a gaming experience that keeps everyone engaged and invested. The best solution is the one that ensures everyone at the table is having fun while still maintaining fairness and immersion in the game world. At the end of the day, rules disputes are just part of the game, but they don't have to ruin it. Whether you go with the rule of cool, the 3-minute rule, or let the GM make the final call, the goal is always to keep the adventure rolling and make sure everyone is having fun. What's the biggest rules debate you've ever had at your table? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear how you handled it. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more RPG tips, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an episode. So, next time a rules debate starts bubbling up, ask yourself, is this helping the game or slowing it down? Then make a call, roll the dice, and keep the adventure rolling. Thanks for watching. See you next time.